My husband suddenly disappeared one day. It was several days later when I found out that he had eloped with my younger sister. 12 years have passed since then. My husband, who contacted me out of the blue, boldly declared, "I'm bringing my new wife back to my hometown. You were in a way, get out of my parents' house." It seems that he doesn't want to see me, who has been living with his parents. After 12 years since the elopement, he intends to welcome my sister as his new wife, thinking that the situation has calmed down. However, they still don't know how much the feelings of me and our entire family have changed over these 12 years. My name is Elsa and I'm 27 years old. I majored in design during my student days and later got a job at a web development company. While leading an ordinary life as a working adult, I met Evan when I was 25. He worked as a salesperson at the company and was very friendly due to the nature of his job. I was attracted to his approachability, and after a year of dating, we got married last year. With the marriage registration, we started living with his parents, and I quit my job at the web development company to work as a freelance web designer. I chose to work from home while taking care of household chores and supporting my husband's life. At first, I struggled to find work and had unstable income. However, recently, I have been receiving projects from various sources and earning a sufficient income. I work at my own pace and prioritize my family. We gather around the table with my husband and in-laws for meals in the morning and evening. And before going to bed, we spend quality time together as a couple. I was very satisfied with my current lifestyle. However, my once gentle husband started changing little by little. The catalyst was when my income surpassed my previous job's salary 2 months ago. I was thrilled to reach my target amount, and that day I was restless all day long. I wanted to tell my husband as soon as possible. Surely he would be happy for me, or so I thought. As soon as my husband returned home, I rushed to the entrance and delivered the news with a beaming face. "Evan, listen, last month, my income exceeded the salary from my previous company." "Haha, are you kidding me? Wasn't your salary pretty good at your company?" "But I've been aiming to surpass that. Finally, my wish came true."
"Oh, I see.
Is that all?"
What should I have said? Congratulations, that's amazing, or something?"
My husband's response was unusually glitchy and sarcastic. Not understanding why he was so upset, unintentionally proved for them. "Evan, why are you angry? I thought you would be happy too."
"Haha, why should I be happy? It's not like my salary increased."
"Well, that's true, but isn't a wife's happiness also a husband's happiness?"
"What's that supposed to mean? Don't lump me into your celebration. I'm not that kind of guy."
Since that day, my husband's attitude grew colder day by day. Our everyday conversations diminished, and even simple greetings like "good morning" and "good night" always had to come from me. Despite being only a year into our marriage, our once blissful married life seemed to be slipping away. Our living parents-in-law also began to notice the strain in our relationship, but they didn't say anything. Perhaps out of conversation. 2 months had passed. and our relationship remained unchanged. We shared meals at the same time, but there was hardly any conversation. He would change the TV channel without asking when I was waiting, and he would help himself do things I had bought without permission. If I tried too hard, it would escalate into a bigger conflict, so I chose to remain silent. One day, amidst the continuation of such days, while I was cleaning the house, my mother-in-law approached me with a worried expression. Elsa, are you okay? Haha, what do you mean, okay? Well, back when you two had just got married, you used to go out together a lot, but recently, that doesn't seem to happen at all, and it seems like there's very little conversation between you two, if any. Yes, you're right. It's only been a year since we got married, and it's strange to be in this kind of situation. I was a smile, trying not to worry my mother-in-law, but it seemed like she saw right through me. She looked at me with a serious expression. If you don't want to talk about it, I won't force you, but I'm worried about you. Lately, it feels like something's been bothering you. Bothering me? No, it's not like that. Your husband has noticed it too. Both my husband and I are concerned that you might be forcing yourself. Mother-in-law. In the first place, it might be my fault that I made my husband uncomfortable with the matter of my income. But on the other hand, I also felt a slight sadness that he couldn't share in my success. And I was so happy that my in-laws noticed the pain I was going through. It brought tears to my eyes. I decided to confide in my mother-in-law about the whole situation. After hearing everything, my mother-in-law, while rubbing my back, opened her mouth with an apologetic expression. So that's what happened. I'm sorry. I couldn't simply praise him for his efforts, even though he worked so hard for someone he loves. That boy is also lacking as a man. It's my fault. I selfishly thought that Eva would be happy for my success. It's not something Elsa should worry about. But if we interfere, it might become even more complicated. Complicated? It's not like that at all. That's why I think you two should have a serious conversation about this. Do you think you can do that? Yes, I'll be fine. Thank you for listening, mother-in-law. My mother-in-law smiled warmly and gently stroked my head. Having in-laws who cared for me like their own daughter as a source of true solace for me. With my mother-in-law's advice, I decided to have a proper conversation with my husband. That night, after my parents-in-law had gone to bed, I waited for him to come home. However, hours passed, and there was no sign for him returning. Normally, he would come home by 10 o'clock at the latest, but on this day it was already past 11 o'clock. Why he's so late? I sent messages, but there was no reply. Could something have happened? Worried, I called him multiple times, but the calls only rang, and there was no response. An hour passed while an eggshells waited. It was past midnight when he finally returned. Welcome home. I greeted him, but my husband left out a deep sigh and wore a displeased expression. Why are you still awake at this hour? Why? I wanted to have a proper conversation with you today, Evan. A conversation? About what? It all started from when I talked about my salary, right? I said it without thinking, but maybe I unintentionally hurt your pride. In that instant, my spine froze. It was because I saw my husband staring at me with a cold expression. Overwhelmed by fear, my voice choked up and wouldn't come out. He uttered his words with an air of disdain. There's no need for us to have any conversations now. It's seriously creepy that you are away and waiting for my return. Creepy? I just wanted to build a better relationship with you as a married couple. That's what's tiresome, seriously. Maybe I made a mistake marrying you. But that's enough. I'm tired from working overtime. Don't casually talk to me when you are just lazing around at home. My husband walked past me and headed upstairs to our bedroom. I couldn't move from that spot until I could no longer hear the sound of him climbing the stairs. Why would he say such things? All I wanted was a normal married life. Even though my mother-in-law had encouraged me, nothing had been resolved. However, after being shown such an attitude, I didn't have the courage to initiate another conversation with my husband. It felt like my entire being had been invalidated, and my chest tainted with pain. 2 months passed without any conversation with my husband, and each day passed by uneventfully. One day, my husband's presence vanished. As I surveyed his room, I suddenly felt something was off. Was Evan's room ever this tidy? I can't exactly call him a neat freak, yet his room was unusually neat. The closet was almost empty, and there was no sign of his suitcase. That's when I finally realized he had left the house. I hurriedly tried to contact my in-laws, but their phone seemed to be turned off, as it wouldn't connect. Lost in panic, I received a call from my sister Emily. Hey sis, long time no see. Emily, sorry, but I can't focus on that right now. Your husband isn't there, right? Why would you say that? How does Emily know about it? Negative premonitions tend to come true. Eventually, she revealed an unbelievable truth. Well, you see, it was really just a coincidence at first. I happened to meet your husband at a pub and we had a drink together. I heard about the problems between you and your husband. Emily, you can't be serious. I'm actually dating your husband. We are going somewhere far to get married. So don't interfere, okay? Don't say such ridiculous things. Bring Evan back right now. Sorry, it's impossible. The truth is, I've had feelings for your husband for a while now. He's tall and handsome, so sorry. I'm taking him for myself. And with that, the call abruptly ended. No matter how many times I tried calling back, my sister didn't answer. Instead, what I received were numerous photos. There were shots of my husband and Emily together, even some from their dates, totaling dozens of pictures. Either way, it wasn't something I could stare at for too long. When I called my husband's workplace, I learned that he had already resigned. At this point, it was no longer a problem I could handle on my own. I decided to confide in my parents and in-laws and seek their advice. It seems Evan and Emily have eloped. He quit his job without consulting me and apparently intends to divorce me. After finishing my explanation, everyone present was at a loss for words. In the midst of the silence, it was my father-in-law who spoke slowly. Elsa, I'm truly sorry for my idiot son. I don't expect you to forgive him, and I don't think you should. Father-in-law, I hate to put it this way,
But I can't forgive my own niece, Emily, either. To me, Elsa is like a daughter. I can't forgive those two who hurt my precious daughter. His words were met with dissolute agreement from my mother-in-law and my own parents. That's why I intend to sever ties with them. Apparently, my in-laws had already been considering moving due to the deteriorating condition of their family home. With this incident, they decided to secretly relocate without their son's knowledge. Meanwhile, my parents also decided to sever ties with my sister. Even if she were to come back, they vowed never to treat her as family again. Someone with such a lack of morals who would steal her sister's husband is no longer our daughter. That was my father and mother's opinion. With this as an opportunity, I decided to return to my parents' house where they lived. I completely cut off all ties with my husband and Emily. Divorced 20 years ago. A lot has happened since then. My in-laws bought an apartment, demolished their house, and sold the land. My reputation as a web designer has increased, and my income has become incomparable to before. Thanks to that, I regularly went on trips with my parents and had fulfilling days. On this day, I was busy with work when my smartphone rang. Thinking it was a work-related call, I answered without checking the screen, but the call brought back unpleasant memories. Long time no see, sir. How have you been? Evan? As expected, you remember your ex-husband's voice. He spoke in a condescending tone, just like before. What do you want? It's been 20 years since the divorce. Don't contact me now. When I said that to push him away, he chuckled with an unpleasant laugh. Well, you're battling worse. Can you leave the house within 10 minutes? What are you talking about? We're in financial trouble. We're heading your way out. We're taking my wife home, so you have to leave my parents' house. Apparently, he still believes that I am living with my in-laws. After 20 years, he believes that everything has cooled down and they will be accepted. Behind him, I heard my sister Emily chiming in. Yeah, get out! These people really don't know anything. Do they think they can be forgiven just because 20 years have passed? The world isn't that kind. I'd show them hell if that's what they want. With determination, I took a deep breath and said to them decisively, if you want to go back, feel free to. I'm no longer at your parents' house. Really, did Dad kick you out or something? Are you an idiot? Your parents' house doesn't exist in this world anymore. What are you talking about? Evan's voice was trembling and he seemed anxious. At that exact moment, it seemed they arrived at the location where my in-laws' house used to be. My ex-husband exclaimed in anguish. What the hell is this? I mercilessly continued speaking to him. Right after you two eloped, we decided to cut ties with you. Your parents have already moved, and my parents disowned the woman who was with you. So there's no place for you to return to. Are you kidding me? That can't be true. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Feel free. Neither I nor your parents nor my father or the mother think of you as family anymore. There's no value in being with scum who trampled on other people's feelings. That's so cruel. We're family, aren't you? who trampled on the feelings of that family? Don't ever contact me again. I want to let you interfere with my life any longer. I hung up the phone as I finished speaking and blocked their contact information. This time, I completely severed the last connection. Afterwards, they couldn't locate my in-laws, so they came to my parents' house while I was away. However, my father and mother had already disowned my sister. To my sobbing sister's repeated question of, "Who are you?" they shut the door on them and sent them away. Apparently, the two of them kneeled in front of the entrance. "Please, Mom and Dad, forgive us. We have nowhere else to go." Evan quickly joined in, taking advantage of my sister's prayer. "I'm begging you to. Our family home is gone, and we have nowhere to return." "Shut up, you are no longer family." "That's right, go away quickly." "Wait, please." "Please, father and mother-in-law." "You have no right to call me father-in-law. Get out." Since they are persistent, my mother reported them to the police for harassment. Since then, they haven't been seen. It seems that the two of them are without jobs or homes and have been begging their mutual friends for money. However, rumors about them have already spread, and there was not a single person willing to lend them money. In any case, it would be nearly impossible for them to survive in their hometown. They have no choice but to start from scratch and struggle in an unfamiliar land. But it's all their own fault. They reap what they sow. I hope they suffer as much as possible. Of course, I will never see them again. If anything, I hope they live with regret for the crimes they committed.